Right, so we're going to finish the area here. So in the last video we were building in the layers, so we've got some kind of shape there. So what I want to do now is add a bit more of the layers in. So I'm just going to use the terracotta, and I'm just going to follow the direction of the fur again, but sort of just plotting where the bright vibrant colours are going to be, and we're just going to use a light pressure again. As you can see from this part here, this is the bit that's going under, and we've made a distinction between going over, which will make it easy to when we come to subtract the some of the pigment. So I just want to build up a bit more. So as you can see, I'm using the terracotta. So yep, if you haven't got that, then it's the an orange and a bit of brown. Okay, so want to make this a bit more vibrant. We're gonna do light layers over the top just to build it up, because we want this all to stand out nicely, and we don't want to actually, you know, have anything kind of like pale. Right, and this part here, although it's quite a vibrant colour, it's also got a tinge, to me it's got a tinge of brown in it. And although the both the terracottas are different shades, I think this one's probably a lot more vibrant. So just follow that around there. Just short strokes of the pencil. And we just want to keep it going like that. So by the time it comes to here, it's actually straight on. And we just keep going over. And also I'm going to be adding in some more of the light browns as well, just to build it up. Oh. Right. Okay. Just see that it sort of flicks up that way. So we're getting some more colour in at the base of the ear. So then we're going to go over that, over it, like arching over, so that we know that that's the over part and that's the under part. So we're gradually sort of losing the line art, but we've been able to use it as a guide for the direction of the fur. Okay. This bit's going to end up being lighter around here as well. And that's going to be, we're going to add some more of the terracotta around this part. but we're also going to add in the brown as well, so you'll be able to see bits coming through. But we're actually going and add more pigment to it once we've subtracted, just so that we can get the shade right and the texture, and so that you can see that it's fur. It's like in the ear where you can see the fluffiness of the ear hair coming across. So that's how we want to sort of have this looking as well, so it's sort of as a defined shape to the skull. Okay, just a bit more layers there. And just go across flat. Like that. I'm going to add a bit more there because it's more orangey. And through there as well. So when I tend to draw my own projects, sometimes I'll have music playing. Might have my radio on, and other times I have Netflix on. So it depends on what a sort of you know, what I'm watching at that particular time. Some of the different things that I have a little binge watch. And then other times it's just I have maybe the sport on in the background because I have it all on my iPad. But then what I can do is, because then I play everything on my iPad, and usually I use my iPad for the reference photo, what I do tend to do then is put my my reference photo up on my MacBook. So then, you know, because it's all linked, so that I'm able to do that. So yeah, so if I'm not in the mood for listening to music, then that's what I do. Right, I'm just going to add a bit more of the light brown. Just bear with me. Oh yeah, there it is. So remember, it's the lightest shade. It's the raw umber, and it's the lightest shade in your pack. We're just going to do a bit more going underneath, like that, to make it more defined. And then I want to do some more here again. So it's quite dark a bit down here, and it's going over that way because it's coming in from the forehead part. And then we are going to do a bit more there. Just want to add a bit of texture there because this bit's going to be light, but I want a bit of some of the brown coming through. So I just want to build it up a bit. Still want a, what colour brown? What's this one? So it's the next one up, the nougat. So next shade up if you've got that one. If not, just try and add, maybe if you want to go slightly darker, you might try and add a small layer of black, but not too heavy, and then add another layer of brown on top, and that should help you out. So it's all about, when you're layering and getting getting all the detail in and all the different colours in, it's all about having a bit of patience and just trusting how it's going to go. Because you'll be very proud of yourself when it comes out. And remember, everyone's is different. There's no right or wrong. Okay. Just adding a bit more brown to that colour there. So it's you can see it's slowly building up around here. It's all gradually coming together. So just want to make sure this is slightly darker underneath. Because you want to add a bit of definition. Okay. Yeah, that's looking, I'm pleased with that, it's looking good. So just keep going round like that, very gently. Just keep building it up like that. And let's have a look. Just going to add a little bit in there, very lightly. Okay, I think that round there is going to be darker when we get to it, but I'll just plot that bit in now anyway. Okay, like that. I hope you're all getting on okay with this. Right, so that's going to be the terracotta again, or the orangey brown. So that's going to be vibrant. And then we're just going to keep going over it like that. So whenever you see a colour, say if you're looking at something outside, you're not going to see just like one basic colour, because of the like the different lights that are outside. You're going to see different shades. So this is why we, trying to get all of our tonal value in. So I'm looking also with the next box to try a different box design, so maybe a slightly bigger one, so we can fit different size surface paper in there, because this is A5 and some of the other surfaces are slightly bigger, so it'd be nice to sort of have have bigger boxes so that we can send out, you know, bigger materials. And then what I'll also do is go for the interlockable tabs at the end, so it makes it more secure. So that's a bit of research I'm looking on. So yeah, it's gradually building up there. Okay, so got the ear bit going there. And so these are going to be lighter, but we want to add a bit of background colour into it. And it goes over like that. But then that part, as you're going over that way, it's going up there, so it's fanning up slightly. And then what we do once we've done the subtraction part, then we'll just build up and sort of layer each area, give it each area a bit more detail. So for instance, like this part here, it's a bit darker. So we're just going to go over like that. Okay. And then I'm going to add some of the brown ochre. So that's like a yellowy browny colour. But don't worry if you don't have it. Just you could probably use the lighter brown and just do it very, very light. I just want to make sure I've got a bit of direction there. So that bit is gonna go there, because that's where it goes. That's where it goes a bit more of the terracotta over that way. Okay. Just going to add in the other slightly darker shade of the terracotta. Which is quite bright, but that's fine. Because we want it to sort of go darker around here. Like that. And then a bit more over that way. You might find if you're going to do it, take the page out of your sketchbook and do it like I'm doing, you may want to sort of turn the paper a bit, but I'm just keeping it in this position so that you can see what I'm doing. So just gonna block that bit in. Because goes bright there, and then around that part it goes lighter. So we will leave that part there as it is, and then we can always go in and fix it a bit more afterwards. So this is looking quite orangey at the moment, this part. There we go, just go in like that, because there is quite a orangey bit there, and then we'll just add some layers there. Okay, and then go over like that. So around this area is quite a bit sort of more vibrant. Okay, so I'm going to add some more of the lighter brown, so that's the raw umber. Just going to sharpen it a bit because I want to get a bit of the texture of the pencil in. So let's have a look. Yeah, just so we can sort of see some of the fairer lines there. Because what we're going to do, although we've got the colour there, because this bit's quite light, it's not showing as light at the moment. So what we'll do is, because we've got the colour underneath, and I'm going to subtract it with my Tombow eraser, and then what I can do is then add bits in there so that you can see where the definition of the fur is. So what I'm going to do, let's just get that paper, is I'm going to start doing that now, and then we've got a good layer of colour there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do the subtraction technique, and then I can start building the texture as we're going up. So I think, yeah, got good foundation there. So this bit, we're going to go like that, so you can kind of like, you can see bits of it disappearing, and then over that part we've got like that. And then it's going to come up, that's right, it's going to come up there. Okay, so yeah, you can use, if you haven't got one of these, you can use a normal rubber, but just use the very edge of it. And with this, I mean, these are really cheap. You can get them on Amazon. I think I've mentioned that a number of times. But yeah, these are great. I've had this one for a couple of years, and it's good because you can get refills as well, and they're from Amazon. Okay, need to turn off the notifications on both the laptop and the phone now. Right, and then just get a paintbrush, dry one, to move all the shavings away. So So you just want to keep flicking it. So I don't know if you can see, it's got the lighter bits there, and it's adding volume to it there. And then what I want to do, because we've got that bit, so although it looks like we're removing a lot of colours, I'm like adding in some texture, so it's taken up some of it. And then what I can do is I can just do a little bit more details with the pencil and go in and define some of the fur. Okay, that's that. So then from there, I'm going to go in that way and just keep flicking it up like that. So it looks like I've removed quite a bit, but we're going to go in and add a bit more in a bit. So you can see you can have like wisps of fur. And where we've built up the colour there, you can actually see it's taken the shape around the eye. So I need to make that a bit lighter. And this bit here that we were working on the previous one, that needs lightening up as well. Just make sure the end of the rubber is clean, because you don't want to add other bits of colour into areas where they shouldn't be going. Right. Okay, so then I am going to add in, what do I need? Just going to have a look to see if I've got any other colours. This is a polychromos sanguine, I think that's how you pronounce it. So it's kind of like a browny, orangey, reddy colour, bit pinky colour. So I think that would be a pretty good one to sort of add in there, just to sort of define some colours, because I think we need that shade in there. Yeah, we do need that shade in there. Okay, then we can bring some up underneath. Like that. We're not just going to have this colour, we're going to use one of the darker ones as well. I'm just going to keep doing that. Okay. Now I know this bit here needs a bit more brown to it, but I just want to make sure that that's got, yeah, nice colour to it. Okay, And we're going to go under these bits here. Needs to be a bit browny as well. So it's all trial and error. So you can subtract. Yeah, I think that's going okay. And then needs to be quite light in these areas. So I'm going to go, I think, with the sepia 10% with that, so it should show up. So that's kind of, if you look at it, it's sepia is usually brown, and because it's only 10% of the shade, it looks a lot lighter, and so it's actually got like a lilac-y kind of hue to it, lilac-y grey colour. So I'm going to give that a go in a moment, just to see what we can get from that. And then I want this bit here, because that's where the bit that we worked on yesterday. So I want to use the light brown again, so it's the raw umber. And we're just gonna lightly go in like that, but we also want it to blend. So that's that bit there. We want to make sure that we've got the fur going in underneath. I want to be able to add little bits of colour in to define it, but we also need to leave some of it light. Okay. So we need to sort of like build it all up again. Like that. Okay. Yeah, that bit there. So it stands out a bit, but doesn't look too obvious. Okay. Then I want to dull down that actual terracotta part. See, that line art is still poking through. So I'm just going to try and blot it out. I think that's all we're going to be able to get from that. Okay. Let me just carry on with that part there. Okay, and then we're going to go over, actually I'm just going to take out a bit more around here because it's lighter there. Okay, and then I'm going to try and add in, actually I'm going to add in, see if I can add in the raw umber 10%, which is more of a grey, light grey colour, and see if I can get that to show on there. Yeah, and do that. So I also want to do it on these bits as well. Okay, and then you can also blend with this as well, so you can make the colours slightly lighter, because this bit's browny but it's also got some light parts in it as well. So yeah, so we've got that part there, and then what we want to do is keep that bit light, and so we just need to go around it slightly, but then also do this underneath a bit so that we can see that it's lighter there, but we're defining the lighter colours by putting in slightly darker shades underneath it. And then I want to add the next shade up. Yeah, around there. And we just want to build up the layers around there. And then just define this a bit more. But this bit needs to be darker. Just going to be plotting it so around there. Yeah. So we've got that bit there. Okay, it's all about playing with the different shades, but we do have to go careful with this because this hasn't got, it's not thick enough and it's quite smooth. It's not gonna take a lot of layers. There, so like that. And then what I want to do, because we've got, I'm just going to use a terracotta. So from that bit there, it goes into a brighter orange. I'm going to sharpen my pencil. Okay, and then yeah, because it's coming out on the brown into the orange, just a small bit. And then there's a bit there as well. Right, we don't want to make this look too flat, so from there I'm gonna just slightly build it up again. kind of goes over like that. And we want a bit there as well. What I'm going to do is add the Caput Mortuum violet, so that's like your purpley brown, because I want to add a bit of that because I think it needs a bit of that in there. Yeah. So we're just going to put it in there. That under there. And now we're going to have a bit going throughout, so we've got like a thin bit coming up here, and then just take it very lightly and just be very careful so that we can define some of those strands of fur, but we also want to show that there's lighter parts on there as well. Yeah, that bit there, because it's yeah, it's behind that tuft. Like that. Yeah, and then there's a few bits in like this, and in there as well. So around the eye it is darker, and what we want, because it's you can see on your reference photo, it's darker there but there's a lighter bit there, so we want to define that. But just go on there lightly and then just add your layers. This we're going to sort out when we get round to that part again, because that needs changing slightly, but we don't need to worry about that part at the moment. So we've got that bit there, and yeah, we want to keep defining some of that. Like so. Then we need to bring it up a bit here. Okay. So I also want to use the Nougat, which is the next shade up from the lighter brown. And I'm just going to add a bit of that there as well. So although that eye looks a bit dark at the moment, it does on the reference photo, but then this part of the muzzle is light and it will bring it out. But yeah, I think it's looking looking good. So just need to bring out a bit more. So although we've actually taken stuff out and gone over it, I'm going to take out another bit in a moment. Because also, I mean, we're building the eye up, but it's still looking a bit flat round here, so we need to add some more values to here as well. But this needs to be, I think I'm going to use the Caput Mortem Violet in here. Just to sort of define that a bit more. So this is like your browny purpley colour. And then let's try a bit of the sanguine, which is the orangey browny pinky colour. You can just continue, if you haven't got this shade, you can continue to use the terracotta or the like an orangey browny shade. And I want to define these bits up here. So we don't want to try not to colour in all of the white that we've added, because it needs to sort of look like the fur. I think it's heading in the right direction. It's all about trial and error and adding and taking away, and you know, you don't have to sort of work on it all in one go. You can always come back to it if it's too much, but trust me, it is definitely worth it in the end, because the results you can get are brilliant. So I'm just going in with the sanguine under here so that we can see a bit of colour underneath, so that you can see that this is the dark part, this is the lighter area. So it's trusting the process. If you think it's getting away from you, just remember, trust the process. Just keep thinking that part, and suddenly it all just starts coming back together again. So I just want to use the light brown again, which is the raw umber. It's looking a bit too pinky at the moment, and I just need to tone it down a notch or two. So I just want to go across. So just bring that up in to that part. Okay, and then like that. So we're going to remove this part again, because it is lighter and there's a thicker part there. And then I'm just going to go over it lightly with the raw umber. Just ever so gently, because we want to leave this part around here lighter. And it's just, that's it, just like that. Just going to go over it with the, oh there it is, with the grey colour. I'll try and, so we need to add those highlights in again here. Like that. And like that. We've got those bits coming through there, through the ear. I'm just going to clean that off again. And then like that. So as you can see, as we're building the layers, adding, subtracting, adding and subtraction, you can actually see that it's gradually building up. So it's a bit light here, so I'm just going to go back in with the terracotta. And just go in like that. And then go in with the light brown again. It's just trying to balance it up. Like that. Because that's it. So this is the really light part here. There. Got to make it sort of, so yeah, it's looking a bit too orange there. So it's not like a terracotta per se. It's got that as the base layer, but it just needs to be dulled down with a bit of light brown. So I just got to make sure that you can see the light colour, but then you've got that bit which where the orange was coming through, sorry, the terracotta. We just need to dull it down a bit and then add a bit of that. And then I feel like I should be doing something with this part. So although, let's have a look. So that part should be lighter. That part should be like a browny colour. Actually, no, just bear with me. That, then you've got that. So that ends up going into the lighter colour, and that's the other bit. So if we subtract that a bit more, so we're going to do it that way and then that way, and then I'm going to use the nougat and just going to brush up the colour like that. Because it's got a bit of extra dark bits around there, and then we can sort of just add that around there. it's all for any artist really. When you're adding colour, it's all trial and error with the, no matter what medium you're using. So like with people that paint, you know, they could find that they've added a colour and they've added a shade and it's too dark, too light, and they have to alter it. And that's exactly the same with colour pencil artists. So yeah, it's all trial and error. Okay, so this bit, there you go, you can see it a bit more here, and then you've got a darker bit coming up there. And then it goes over. So I want to try a slightly darker shade of brown if you've got one. This one is the walnut brown polychromos. I'm going to sharpen it because the end's a bit blunt. Right. And I just want to, because there's a slightly darker bit there, and this is ideal because it's good for defining lines, you know, the lines of the fur, and making things standing out, but you have to go very lightly with it. You see how different it's looking under here now because we've added different shades. So it's really taken shape around here quite well. And then under here as well, we just want to add a bit more. And so you've got that bit coming down. Yeah. And then, yeah, so you want to go up here very lightly, because whilst it's darker here, we've also got the lighter parts, and then it goes in to our terracotta brownie colour. So as you can see, it's sort of gradually taken shape under here. So I just want to do that. It's actually worth it. Just keep playing around with it, but just go carefully. It's not overworked. But this is actually, I think that needs to be taken. We've got it quite light there. It needs to be defined a bit there. Okay, there we go. This is the great colour for doing this. It's a good shade because it allows us to define things better. So sharpen the terracotta again. So if you've noticed where we're done around the eye and building that up, it's really brought the eyes out a lot as well. Okay, so I want to be adding, so it's looking a bit too orangey there. So I just want to bring out a few more highlights. I wonder if my slice tool's gonna work with that, whether it's the wrong type of paper. Let's just If not, I'll just carry on with the Tombow. Okay, so because on drafting film this is perfect, but you have to go careful because of the because the paper doesn't have a lot of type, a lot of layers on it. So yeah, it's taken some. I mean, if you haven't got a slice tool, that's fine, it doesn't matter. Just bear with me. So yeah, it doesn't matter too much. You can still use the your either a Tombow eraser or the one that's in your subscription box. I've only got one of these because I've been doing this longer, so I've just collected all of mine gradually. I think it's doing it to some extent. So I've just taken off the small amount of pigment, but I want it. Yeah, it doesn't work so well on this paper. I think I'm just going to stick to the Tombow because I don't want to put a hole in the paper because it's not as thick as the other paper. Okay. Yeah, so that's fine. So then I can go back to the walnut brown and then just subtly add bits going through like that. I'm going to just go from left to right, so we're going underneath it like we were doing around here. I'm going to go under these bits as well, again light, so that this fur sort of stands out. Just do ever so lightly on this part. So you want to go short strokes left to right. And then yeah. So that's quite a darker bit there, which is actually working okay with that deeper part. And then we want to just follow the fur around. Okay, and then we have this bit here. Yeah, so next month's subscription box is going to be a robin, and we're going to do it on pastel matte, and you'll see a really nice difference with that, the textures that you can get down. Right, I just want to so remember that we don't go over the the highlights there, we just want to accentuate them a bit and just make sure that we go with the direction of the fur. I know I keep going on about that, but it's really important. that's kind of building up quite nicely. So we have got the orangey terracotta coming through, but there's also brown there as well. You can see it all slowly coming together. So once you sort of move on to this part, which is what we're going to do once we've finished here, you'll see it sort of gradually all merging together, and you'll see it looks better as it's coming along. So I just want to define these bits a bit more. Just remember, we've got to leave these bits highlighted, and then we're just gonna, you can see around here, it's on your reference photo, it's built up. It's getting more definition to it now. And what I'm going to do is, once we've finished with the walnut brown, I'm going to add in some of the highlight, well, add in a bit more of the terracotta, just to sort of make it slightly lighter. But you can see it's really coming together around here now. And then of course that bit is a darker brown, but it's got light fur in front of it, so we'll just use the subtraction technique on that in a moment as well. And the good thing about using colour pencils is the fact that you don't have to spray any fixative on it, because if you do, it will ruin the colour of the picture that you've done, that you've worked so hard towards. So if someone says to you, what fixative do you use, you don't need to use them, because it can ruin the shade that you've spent so long putting down, and it can ruin hours of hard work. See, it's really, definition there is coming through really well, and you can still see the highlights as well. So I'm just going to add a bit more of the terracotta, but not too much of it, because we don't want it to look too orange. Because then as I say, at the end we'll go through and make any amendments or make the shades a bit more vibrant. Although this bit around here is a bit more terracotta. Okay, and yeah, around there a bit. But just make sure that we don't get rid of those highlights, because it will take away the shape of the fox and it will make it look flat. Just going to use the Tombow on this bit here because it's got wisps of fur. That's it. And remember, when you're using your Tombow or any other rubber. Exact same direction as the fur. This could come out looking a bit strange. Just a bit more here, and then next time round we can move on to this part. Just got to define these a bit more. I think that needs just get rid of that. So there's a bit of a kink to the fur, so I'm just gonna define that a bit, because it seems almost like slightly thicker, the white part around here. Okay, it needs a bit of something here as well. Just going to use that terracotta in again slightly. Nope. Yeah. Just very smaller bits on here. Because there's just some areas where it's a lot darker than others, but then it blends into the browns. Okay, so that bit there. Yeah, it's gradually building up there. I'm pleased with this. Yeah, it's really getting some definition now. Just want to, this bit, I think, looking at the reference photo, it needs a bit more darkness under it. So that you can see that it's underneath. Yeah, pleased with that. Just slightly a bit more. So make sure it's lighter around here. And yeah, right, what else is there? Just a bit more of the terracotta. And so we've got it defined there, it's lighter there. We just want to make sure there's a bit of colour there, but it also needs to be light as well. And then, sorry if you can hear my son, he's in the next room playing, by the sounds of it, FIFA, because he doesn't sound too happy. Okay, right. think just a bit more there. So there we go. And then we can yeah, go in like that. Oh, bit of tape on me. Right. Okay, so I think there's always something I think that you can do differently or do a bit more, so sometimes it's always difficult to call it time. Just gonna make sure, because it goes in different directions. So got that bit, and then you got that bit. Like that. And then it goes a bit over that way. Yeah, I think that's fine for the moment. That just needs to be taken down a shade or two. I am just going to have a go with the brown ochre, which is that funny colour shade of brown. Just see if I can take it down a bit. But let's have a look. Yeah, that's taking it down a bit. Okay, so for tomorrow, or well, sorry, for the next video, then we're gonna move on to this bit. So with this bit, you've got the fur coming in that way and that way because it's converging onto the nose. And obviously both, it's like coming from different halves of the face, so we need to make sure that we're coming like down and then across and down. And what we'll do is we'll probably come on down to that part and do this bit, and then we'll move on and do the ear and then that part, and then yeah, we'll come around and do this part and then the bit underneath. But yeah, I think it's going okay. Quite pleased with it, and I hope you're enjoying the process too. It's you know, it's not a something that you can do in an hour. If you when you're drawing things like animals and things like that, it's because you've got to be able to plot everything and you've got to get things in the right place. It's you know, it's a work of, you know, it's you've got to love what you're doing, and you know, be prepared to sort of put in, you know, the time, because it really is worth it, and you know, it's so relaxing. So I think just a bit more of a tweak there. I think for the moment then we will call it a halt at that part, and then what we'll do, as I say, next time round we'll move on. Well, we'll do this bit and the middle bit. Okay then, so see you next time.